Hey, Sean, welcome here and welcome to another episode of Spoken Word Tip Tuesdays. Oh, I'm excited about today. I feel like this is probably the most game I've ever given or will give. I mean, that's up for you to decide, really. But today I want to talk about the best ways to make money as a spoken word poet. Yes, I'm going to talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. Some people might be like, oh, you're supposed to be a prophet, but you telling me you writing poetry for profit, brother? Yes. Yes. I charge people to do what I do best and what I'm gifted at, right? It's a service to humanity, and that's how I make a living, right? And I'm not talking about prostituting the gift, right? That's a different conversation. What I mean by that is like you're out of integrity and alignment of your own values and producing something just like for a check or whatever, right? I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about you're a spoken word artist, you're really dope, phenomenal writer, but you struggle with getting paid what you desire to get paid and what you're worth, right? So I want to lay out some thoughts and some strategy for how you can start to do that, right? The first is, I think it's helpful to understand the industry that your style of poetry fits in best, right? And I've identified three main industries that are most lucrative. And I think by understanding the industry that your poetry may fit in, you can start thinking strategically about how you want to position it to get paid, right? The first is the music industry. The second is the speaker industry. And the third is marketing, right? The music industry, I would identify as a poet who likes to add music to their work, right? That is an entire industry, tons of money in there, but like being honest with yourself, like you might be a rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of, poets, rappers, whatever, they kind of interchange, but start thinking about like, is this really the lane that I want to go down? But I think understanding who you are and where you fit is super helpful. The speaker industry is more like live performances, right? So conferences, different events, poetry slams, there's our teaching poetry workshops. It's like your live embodiment and using your voice in front of people is like your primary way of making money, right? So the speaker industry is very broad, but there is a way for you to kind of position your work in that kind of space, right? And then the third is marketing, right? I would say like ads, commercials, buffer videos for conferences, right? This is work that you would write, but then that organization takes your creative voice and adds visuals to it to promote like their thing, right? So I think regardless, and some of these overlap, right? You don't have to like commit to just one, but I think if you understand each industry or do like a little research, you can start to try to position yourself in sort of like a rhythm where you can get paid within that, doing what you love to do, right? So understanding with the industry that your poetry fits in. And then the second tip number 2, is decentering your content. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, somebody gonna catch that later. I'm gonna unpack it now, but this is huge, right? Because like as a spoken word poet, a performance poet, what we tend to do is center ourselves in the content, right? So, our personal family tragedies, our breakups, the people we fell in love with, our political opinions, like it's all great. It's all great, but nobody cares. Like no one's gonna pay for that in a significant way, right? Unless there's one caveat to that, unless you're a celebrity, because then that content becomes interesting because they know something other than what you're primarily known for or what you became a celebrity for, right? That's the only way like people really pay for that. But other than that, the rest of us out here, like nobody cares. Nobody cares. And one of my coaches told me that. It was really great. So our job is to make them care. Make people care about your content. And the best way to do that is to decenter it. Like, you're making yourself not the primary subject of the work that you produce, right? Now, you may be saying, how? Okay, how do I do that? That sounds great, Sean. How do you do that? I'm gonna give you one strategy. Oh, I'm giving this away for free. I can't believe it, but I'm gonna do it because I feel like I'm gonna free somebody out here. Somebody gonna get paid, and it's gonna make me feel good. Get out a calendar, like an actual, like an annual calendar. I don't, find one around your house or go online. Just look at a calendar and look at every holiday or thing that's recognized by the general public for each month, right? So start with January, New Year's, Dr. King holiday, February, Black History Month, Valentine's Day, March, Women's History Month, St. Patrick's Day. I don't know what else is in March. April, Autism Awareness Day, National Poetry Month. I should have started with that one. May, Mother's Day. Like, if you comb through the entire calendar and look at religious holidays, like, find something that you can write where you're not the subject of the piece, but you can creatively write about it from your perspective, and something that you resonate with and that's true to you, that doesn't feel like you're so outside of who you naturally are as an artist. Whoo, game changer. Like, look at like Women's History Month. Is there a hero of yours that you admire that you can just wax deep on in a poem, right? Now that piece can be used at some organization trying to celebrate Women's History Month, and they can kind of like plug you in. That's the stuff that people will pay for, because you made them care. Woo! Come on, Coach CJ. Thank you. Thanks, CJ. Appreciate you, man. But this is good stuff, y'all, and it's totally possible. I'll give you one quick example before I leave, right? Or a couple. So years ago, I had a friend of mine was like, it's November, I think it's National Adoption Month, right? And they're like, you should write a poem about adoption. And I'm like, I'm not adopted, right? But I was like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I could ask around. And I ended up telling two of my friends stories who went through the process of being like in foster care, and I kind of give my little perspective on it, but it's kind of like a story of hope. And I've been performing that. Faceless is the name of that piece. I've been performing that for 12 years. Same organization paying me over and over again to perform that poem. And it is blessing people. Like, it's lifting people up. It's showing people the intricacies of what it's like to be in that situation. I did the same thing with a poem, Orange Blossoms. That's my poem about sex trafficking, right? To raise awareness about the ills of that industry, right? So it overlaps with something that I both care about and that the marketplace recognizes, right? Black History Month, like Christmas, like, think about things that you can write that resonate with you, but is also recognizable to the marketplace. Oh, let's go! Somebody about to make some money out here, y'all. Woo! I can't believe I gave that away for free, but it's all good. I hope y'all benefit from that, or you can share it with somebody. But if we understand the type of industry that our poetry fits in, and we start to decenter our content, you now have the recipe for like positioning yourself for people to pay you more significantly. All right, that is my time. This is so great. I don't care if you like it or not. I know this is so dope. I appreciate y'all. Till next Tuesday. Peace, love, and poetry.